Well, I wanted to thank you guys for taking time to speak with me today.
Sure. It's a pleasure.
Sure, we appreciate, man.
You guys have had an amazing career and you've really been a standard setter for the genre. I wanted to ask you if you could take me back to the beginning and tell me how it all started.
Yeah. I'll take this point, Christoph, because Christoph is
Yeah.
in the band since 2012. When we started back in the day, it was, let me tell you, 1993. And our first singer, Carsten, and our first drummer, Michael, had another band called Evocation, which were the predecessor of Resurrected. And I met some friends, and they told me, "Hey, man, let's go to the Evocation rehearsal room, we hang out and have some beers and listen to some shit." And so it started. I went to the rehearsal room and said, "Wow, there's blues death metal." They played at that time already in Germany, which was somehow special for Germany. I listened to them a couple of times at the rehearsal room, and then I heard they split up and they sold their rehearsal room. A few months later, uh, one of my pals asked me, "Hey, what about playing in a band with Michael and Carsten? Would you like to?" And I said, that was our former first lead guitarist, Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Hey, yeah, man, I'd like to. I play guitar, and so let's hang out, let's jam together, make a band." And that's where Resurrected started. It was late 1993, early 1994. And so all the story began. And it was 1994. We did our very first demo. The Dark Side of Reality was limited tape to 30 samples. I still have one of it. I was scrubbing in a box some days ago, and I have one more.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Now that's how all the story started, and we had some demos, had vinyl 7-inch with the underground promotion, and then Easter Record asked us to make an album with them. That was the Raping Horse story, and when Raping Horse started, came up, they made the album, and then the record label vanished. And Perverted Taste picked us up, did a re-release from the Raping Horse, and did a new album 1 year later, and so the discography grew and grew and grew. Back in the day, we were a little faster writing albums. Nowadays, it takes us decades, I think, and I don't know why, because maybe we're getting old and the time is flying. I don't have any idea.
And
But yeah, now we're here with Perpetual after
yeah,
8 or 9 years, and it's been an amazing journey through all that COVID shit in 2020, 2022. Yeah, now we're here. That's maybe a rough ride to our discography.
and Perpetual's an amazing album. I wanted to ask you, one of the things that really sticks out to me is how it sounds sonically. Were there any changes in the recording process for you?
Yeah, there were some changes when we were. Let's start the story back in 2024. Um, I tried to check out a couple of studios in the COVID time in 2020, 2022, which were not Jörg Uchen's Soundlodge studio. And I knew there were other guys. And we talked to each other at the Dortmund Death Fest. "Hey, man, we are late with doing a new album. We should start now." And then he said, "Hey, man, yeah, okay, let's go to the Soundlodge again." I said, "Okay." I could think about some other studios, but I know that Dennis is very familiar with Jörg and Soundlodge recording, and the fit, they have a perfect fit because they are both drummers and they
Mm.
work well together. So I can work with Jörg very, very good. I love him. I love his work. I love working with him. I just thought about alternatives. And said, "Okay, let's do Soundlodge together." And we really forced ourselves to write 6 songs in about 5 months
Wow.
to complete the album. And I remember Dennis sitting there behind the kit. We were rehearsing, and he had a really bad hangover. And he told me, hey man, it's 5 months until the studio. I don't think they're gonna make it. But we made it, went to the studio, and that's what you asked about.
Mm,
And he's a very, how can I say, he's not that guy who makes modern metal productions like you mostly listen to. Every record sounds the same to us. They're polished, you all
sure.
listen to the same samples. And I know how Dennis hates those polished productions. Okay, let's make an organic death metal production.
Yes.
That is what Jörg and Soundwatch stands for. We didn't have to do so much recording or too much hassle with guitars or drums because fit they fit perfectly because they're both drummers. And then did the drums. He mixed the drums. He hardly used any sampling, let's say 20% sampling on every instrument or something like that.
Mm.
And when we started doing guitars, we really insisted on taking my guitar box to the studio. I looked Christoph to it, what the hell do you want
Right.
just taking your guitar box? Because I drive a GT and a 4x12 doesn't fit in that car. And all the drums from Dennis were in his car, so I were only in the position to took 6 or 7 amps to the studio, but I didn't have my cabinet. And I asked Christoph, you need to take my cabinet to that studio. He said, "What? Why?" I'll tell you why. And we put the microphones on. I put my amp on it.
Mm.
When Jörg at the studio didn't touch any fader, didn't touch any equalizer. We just put the microphone and looked at me. Don't touch anything. And
Wow.
you don't have to touch any of the microphones. We don't have to touch any of the equalizers. We keep it like that. And that's the way this organic album became Perpetual.
Sure, and that's what really got me involved as a fan of the style was the Florida movement, that old school sound.
Yeah.
It's something that you can't replicate,
Yeah.
unless you do it raw.
Yeah, that's it. But I didn't need to use 5 or 6 guitar amps. I just used one. That's my favorite amp because Jörg told me, go away that bunch of shit of guitar amps. I know they're all great, but don't ask me to put 2 or 3 amps together on different cabinets. It doesn't fit. Okay, I told him, let's do this one. And then that story started. What I told you some minutes ago, just put 2 microphones on my favorite cab, 1 amp, and didn't touch anything. Just leave the fingers of it.
And one of my favorite standout tracks on the album is Immaculate Perception. I wanted to ask you, how did that song develop?
I think it's one of those songs from our lead guitarist, Christoph Zeller. And he's a lot of into old school metal songwriting, and you hear a lot of it in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a big fan of Hate Eternal, Eric Roots and stuff. And when he came up with that song, hey guys, I did make a song at home. I don't know if it fits or if it's good. Just listen to it. I think it sounds like Hate Eternal ordered from Wish. That's what he told me, and he started playing the riffs and playing that song. And Dennis and we looked at each other at the rehearsal. Hey, wow, we keep it like that. I just had one detail I wanted to change, but just a tiny detail, and that's all. That's how that song came to pass. Christoph wrote it all at home for himself. That's what we mainly do nowadays. We don't go to a rehearsal room and rehearse 2 or 3 hours jamming guitar riffs. We put it all together at home and bring it to the rehearsal room and play a complete song. That's how Immaculate Deception came to pass.
And was Perpetual a working title, or did the song come first?
Christoph, I think that's your part.
I just wanted to say I'm thinking I need to step in at this point right now. Yes, thanks again. Welcome for having us here. The story behind Perpetual is it's a rather funny one. It's a real fun story. I was like I was like watching television, and somewhere in the commercials, um, I saw something with perpetual related to a big company, and I thought, oh my God,
I think it was
that
Rolex. Was it
it was
Rolex?
yes, it was Rolex. I love to watch tennis, and during a tennis match, there was a commercial from Rolex, and at the end there was something with hashtag perpetual, and that catched my mind. I thought about a minute, then I directly called Tom and messaged him, "Hey, what do you think of this title? This title fits perfectly to us because we are long runners for so many years right now." And then that was really the point of starting Perpetual, because it really, yeah, it fits to the process, to the evolution of the band after nearly 3 decades. And yeah, that was the first thought about this record. And another fun fact, especially about the title track "Perpetual," is I'm making music for so many years. I was never able to play guitar or drums or bass guitar. That's yeah my path. It led me to the microphone, and for the very first time in my musical career, after so many years, there was a riff in my head, and I was never able to express myself through using a guitar or something.
But
But
we're
then
happy with that.
what?
We are happy with that.
Yeah. But sometimes the volcano erupts, and to make it short, the opening riff of the Perpetual was first in my mind, and then I messaged Tom over. I gave him an audio message, and yeah, and that was the first surf for him, and the guys succeeded in doing the rest. And we, at the end of the day, we are very, very happy with the whole record. And thanks for having us here.
I wanted to ask you as well, and speaking of the album, who could you to speak on the album art concept and the artist that was involved?
There was not really a concept that we had or something. We just wanted to make a new record after so many years. But we are here coming from the region in Western Germany, based to the city of Duisburg. Duisburg is a well-known place. It's like the heartbeat here in Nordrhein-Westfalen, as we call this district.
Yeah.
Based on metal, based on steel and industry and what did you say?
And coal and
coal mines and everything.
It's about coal and iron
and,
and dirt and people being straight and in your face, and that's all what the album is about. And I don't know if you're referring to the album artwork. It's from Ivan Bragin. When you wanted to ask about that, I stumbled about it in the internet, and we're stumbling about some artists and looking about some cover artworks, and I put some of them into a WhatsApp chat group from the band, and most of the time said, "Oh no, that's not good," and then, "Oh, that's bad." And then one day I stumbled about the Perpetual artwork from Ivan, and I thought, "Hey man, that's great. That's a dark atmosphere. Very good representation of what we're doing." I think once I thought maybe it's a little bit too black metalish, but no, it wasn't. And I put it in the chat, and all of us said, "Okay, that's it. We're not looking anymore because that's the album. The album cover art we want to have." And ask Ivan, "Hey Ivan, I stumbled about your artwork. Is it available?" And he said, "Yes. Oh, it's a pleasure. Just take it." And there we were. That's the album artwork.
And now the album's out. I wanted to ask you, what lies ahead for you next? Will you take to the road?
Would like to go? Yeah, sure. Well, Christoph.
I just wanted to mention, the album is about to be released on the next weekend on the next weekend in the city of Western Germany in Viersen. We are celebrating the release party for Perpetual. We are playing at the so-called Schattenfest, the Shadow Fest. Yeah, and we're really looking forward to this show because for the first time we are selling the new record live. We are selling the whole new merchandise.
Yeah.
We are happy to meet all the fans again, and this will be a big party in this location. And yeah, afterwards, a month later, we are playing a home game for the band because we are playing a show in the city of Duisburg, our birthplace,
Oh, wow.
as we
Our
call it.
birthplace, and that's where the first Resurrected live show happened at the Parkhouse. And the first show was in 1994, and now we're going to return after a travel of 32 years. We'd really like to go on a tour, but we're trying to make some festivals at the moment because we have some schedule hassle to go on tour now in summer because it's so late already. But we like to do a couple of shows in a row. But it's difficult nowadays to go on tour, especially in Europe or going overseas to the US, especially now. But when you ask me, I'd like to go on a tour with Immolation because they have a new album out, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And you guys have had such an amazing career. And as I said before, you've really been a pioneer and a standard setter for your genre. I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give a band that's starting right now? What would you tell them?
I think my first advice to the younger generation of bands is definitely never stop. Don't care about what others think. Always persistence, always friendship. For us, the band, it's not just about meeting some friends or some guys or something. For us, the band is like a family. You need to protect your band. You need to discuss everything like in a real family. And I always say my band is my second family, and that's uh, so much worth over all the years. And yeah, this would be my first advice to the younger generation: never give up, and always do love the things that you're doing, and keep it like a family. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You're mentioning the right thing. I think it's a lot about respecting each other. When you're in a band with 4 or 5 people, it's not all the same characters, but it's very important to have characters in a band that fit each other. And we're all different people, but there's always a need for respect. You need to respect each other. You have to trust each other. And I think there's no time for bullshit or any other hassle in a band. To have a toxic environment.
Sure. And, in this day and age, marriages of two people don't work. And when you multiply and you have four people together, 5 people together, it's the chances of getting that good relationship are go down. So it's
Right.
amazing that you've held that standard.
It's like real life, with all ups and downs.
Yeah, because we listen to each other not only in the musical stage, but in our private life. And when Christoph comes to me with a personal problem, man, can you help me with this, or can you help me with that? I probably ask him, what the hell is wrong with you? But in the end of the day, I'm going to help him somehow, or
Sure.
he's going to help me. When I had cancer back in 2017, and it was not such a big hassle for me because I knew, man, I'm going to the hospital in 2 weeks, but I'm going to be out in 12 weeks, and I'm going to start training again. But it was a really bad cancer back in the day. But the doctors told me, everything's going to be fine. You're going to make it. And Christoph called me on the phone. And he asked me, hey guys, what's going on with you? And I said, I'm fine, but I have some cancer, but everything's going to be fine. And and there was silence on the phone. for
Yeah.
minutes. And I asked him, Christoph, what the hell is wrong now? And I listened to the phone and I heard he was crying. And that was a very interesting moment for me because I was not, it wasn't so bad for me, but it was very bad for him.
Sure.
I was fine with it. I knew I'm going to be fit again. We're going to be healthy. At the end of the day, it lasted a little bit longer than I expected, but it was terrifying for Christoph. And that's showing what our relationship is. It's not just being in a band, playing together with each other. It's about being with each other.
Yeah, that's right. Just to add the moment, that was a very emotional moment for me. I was sitting in my job in my office room when I got this info, this message from Thomas, and yeah, I remember a very emotional moment. And yeah, from one moment to the other, I was very scared and everything. And
Sure.
yeah, that's just me. I'm not.
I thought about calling an ambulance.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And then the operation came very fast, and we visited him in hospital. He wasn't able to speak. We were only able to communicate by writing over a tablet. That was
Wow.
crazy. And yeah, we are very happy that we have him back, and yeah, that he fought this fucking bastard of cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a funny story because when I got out of the hospital, we were supposed to play North Open Air in Essen in Germany,
Oh yeah.
which is quite a big festival, with about 5,000 or 7,000 people attending it. And I just came from the hospital. I think everything was open on my body. Surgery wasn't really healed out, and I really had a lot of pain playing guitar, but I wanted to play that fucking festival.
Yeah.
And
And we
I
did.
was sitting in the back with all that things in my body, in my throat, on my tongue, and something like that. I lost about 20 pounds. And it was like that, standing on stage. And I didn't tell anybody about it. And all the people were looking who knew me, and what the hell happened? You could see it in their faces. And people asked me backstage, "Hey man, what happened with you?" And I told them, and they said, "What the fuck?" But I wanted to play. Dennis asked me, "Hey man, do you really want to do that show? You're fucked up." And I want to do that show because I want to have normality. I want to have that routine. It brings me back. And I was sitting in the backstage, looking around me, and saying, "Yeah, that's my life again."
Yeah, I last year at this time I was laid up in my bed. I had stage 4 prostate cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so I was laid up in my bed, and I was so happy for the support that I had, and I had lost 30 pounds. And for me, I've always been the kind of a heavy guy, so
Yeah.
for me to lose that amount of weight, it really looked funny, you know.
And you're doing fine again?
Yes, doing fine.
It's great, man.
Yeah, I went to have knee surgery. How it happened? I went to have knee surgery, and they said, well, we need to do a total check on you before the surgery. And so they did a prostate check, and normal is 4.0, and mine was 24.0. So it's a little off.
Yeah.
But in getting back to the road, I wanted to ask you if you could each tell me your favorite road story.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Joseph, do you have one of them? Because at the end of the day, I know the problem is there were a bunch of those stories, but when you ask me in detail, I can't tell you a single one.
No, there are too many. There are too many funny stories.
I couldn't. I'm not able to pick one out at the moment.
Well, that's fine. I also wanted to ask
I have maybe one story from Milwaukee Metal Fest in 2000. We were with the Flash Run guys, and Steve from Flash Run took us with his van to Milwaukee Metal Fest. And I know the guys from United Gatherer were driving, and right before we arrived at the stadium, a girl crossed the street, crashed against the van, with her face on the screen, looked into the car, and I said, "Hey, man, this girl needs to be fucked up." Just looked in the car and ran away. We were a little bit, we were looking a little irritated. But what should we do? She was gone. We didn't find her again. The screen was damaged, and we went to the club. So, keeping that story short, we were 5 minutes late for the load-in, and the stage manager looked at us and yelled at us, "Hey guys, you guys are 5 minutes late. I give you 10 minutes to put your stuff again on stage and start playing." Like a staff sergeant or something like that. And we were standing there, holy shit, 10 minutes for changeover. I think we're going to fuck up. And then we were talking to each other on the stage in German. And the stage manager came to me, laid his arm around me and said, "Hey man, you guys from Germany? I have an out in Germany. You have all the time you want." And we are playing really early. I think it was 2 p.m. and the hall was empty when we started playing. And then the audience outside the hall realized, "Hey man, the fucking Germans stopped playing." And it took them around 30 seconds. They ran all into the hall, and the hall was packed. It was a nice experience. And then the guys from the management came to us, "Hey man, we really made a mistake. We wanted to play you. Wanted to make you play later that day on 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. We want to play once more." We looked at the schedule. "Hey man, 6 p.m. Emulations playing on the main stage. We want to watch them."
Sure.
And there's no way to fuck up with Immolation. And right. We wanted to see the guys, and we thought it's not a good idea to play parallel with Immolation because everyone wants to see them. Sure. And maybe we play in front of 5 or 6 people, and we didn't want to do that. Now I'm another story from Inferno Festival in 2007 or something like that. Yeah, it was the first time we were playing Norway on Inferno Festival. Do you know that one?
Yeah,
Inferno. Mm-hmm. It was a reunion show of Immortal and Brutal Truth was playing, and we were second or third on the second stage. And we were very hungry right in front of the stage, right before the show started. And we looked at each other, "Hey, let's take some food before we start playing." And I think no one knows us here. We're going to play in front of the stage, probably 20 or 30 people watching us. And so we started eating something, and the buffet was first-class food, only best meat, potatoes, and northern food. We needed to taste everything of it. And we were like this. Such a stomach, the belly was full. Show was ahead 15 minutes. Okay, let's go on stage. But where's our singer Carsten? And Carsten went away to watch Brutal Truth. So right before the changeover, we was watching Brutal Truth on the main stage. And he was gone. And there was a curtain on the small stage. And at that moment, I thought, no one knows us here, but the people were yelling our name in front of the stage, and the room was packed. I sneaked through that curtain. I said, "Holy shit!" And the hall was full. We were like that with all that food in us. We needed to play and make a good show in 10 minutes, and our singer was still gone. And he came on the stage. He stepped on the stage, looked at all the audience. He said, "Holy shit!" And he had 30 seconds for a sound check on the vocals, and then we started that show. And it was amazing.
And now the album's going to be released. Well, I wanted to ask you if you guys could take a moment and address your fans, and give them a message about this release and how to get it.
What's up, you?
What? I had connection problems. Please repeat your question.
Yes. The album is out. I wanted to ask you if you could give a message to your fans about the album and about how to get the album.
Sure. Yes, to address our fans and yeah, Perpetual, it's what it's all about. It's like a big summary of the last 3 decades of this band. You know, it wasn't like only a musical journey for the band. It was also like a journey for the people. You know, we are not in the 20s anymore. We are not in the 30s anymore. And
No,
we are like
old fans.
we are like an old wine, an old experienced wine, and I really think that our fans that they will love the new album because you can definitely hear that yeah, we are we have grown in the music.
Yeah,
the songs are more to the point. It's more like a stream and a flow, and you can hear yeah, that we are not beginners anymore. Well, we are fans for ourselves, for metal and everything for so many years, and yeah, luckily we had the opportunity to grow this old as a band. I think nowadays, you know, in Germany, they consider as like the grandfathers in brutal death metal because there are not really much bands who play this shit for so many years.
Sure.
And now that we are getting old, yeah, we are really happy about that. We still do have the opportunity to make music, to perform, to play for the fans, to record a new album. And right now, those are crazy weeks because in the last years, there were some times due to Thomas' illness and a lot of other stuff. It was very silent, and now it's with the release of the new album. A lot of things are raining down on us, and a lot of positive things. The international reviews of the album that we are getting in the last week. It's not a question if you look to France, to Spain, to Austria, to the States, people are still liking our shit, and yeah. The only thing that we are feeling is a big feeling of being thankful. Yeah.
And in addition, I just found a point in a review which really represents what the album is about. All things considered, Perpetual is exactly what the title promises: a steady, unrelenting stream of pressure, force, and passion. Not revolutionary, but damn convincing at that band's age. And it really represents, for me, what that album stands for.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want it to be revolutionary. We wanted to play and show what we play, what we really like. We're fans of that music.
Absolutely.
We didn't want to make any revolution of it. Listen to a Cannibal Corpse album, you'll never find a revolution in it.
Right.
But that's what it's about. That's our passion. And a friend of mine told me, "Yeah, man, that's Resurrected, but it's Resurrected 2.0. We have upgraded.
Right.
In my opinion, we've upgraded. We've grown better. I think every band would say that at some point when they do a new record. But when we came back from the studio, when I had that album in my CD player in the car, man, we've achieved something, and I don't know what happened now. What happens now? And the producer, Jörg from Soundlodge Studio, knew that, and I know from different persons who told me he was calling several people in the German scene and magazines and said, "Hey, man, have just recorded a very special album. And he didn't tell us, but I know from those people he talked to, and that means something for me. And when you want to order that, I think you wanted to know, it's available at any digital platform: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, call it whatever. We have 4 formats this time. I think it's CD, black vinyl, colored vinyl, and music cassette as MC. We get it on Testimony Records. Should be available in every store, even in the US. SPKR Media, and they have a distribution in the US, which is really good. So if you want to have a physical copy, go to your store, or I'll order it online, order it from us.
Absolutely.
And you can get it.
Well, I wanted to take a moment to thank you, one, for taking the time to speak with me today, and two, for such an amazing career that truly needs to be celebrated. You guys have truly been a huge part of my life.
Thank you,
a
man.
big part of
Thank
the
you.
metal genre, period. And I wish you all the best in the upcoming albums, and you have made an amazing album from top to bottom, my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate, bro.
You take care, my friends, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for your time.
You take care too. All the best for you. Greetings from Germany to the States. Huh?
Cheers.
Fuck cancer and keep your heads up.
Fuck yeah. Cheers.